Now we take a look at a ton of different sneakers over here on the channel. So today we're going through my top 5 recent sneaker and streetwear pickups. And some of these really surprised me. So let's kick this off with a pair that I was pretty sure I was going to like. This is the Jordan 3 J Balvin. I passed up on the ones and the light up tongue 2s didn't really do it for me, but these are very different. Man, it feels like J Balvin went all the way back to the drawing board on these things and just completely reinvented what we thought was his style when it came to sneaker collaboration. Now, we'll clarify by saying the ones and the twos I think were good for being super different. I mean, the ones were all over canvas with jagged cut edges and obviously had the entire rainbow on them. And the twos took us all the way back to when we were kids and had light up shoes. But this pair feels all grown up. It feels a lot more sophisticated. From the entirely sailed color upper to the yellow stained edges all along these leather panels. My favorite part, the white elephant print that you find around the back and the front of the sneaker. Now, I, like many of you, had a very tough time getting these things because they were extremely limited. Resale price is not looking pretty at all, but I'm super glad I picked them up because I think these are gonna end up being like one of my favorite Jordans to release this year. I mean, the box that these things come in is one of the best uses of a plastic sleeve that I've ever seen. It's all dark looking until you pull the box away from the sleeve and you can see that underneath you've got the sun, which is J Balvin's logo. And this is all to represent the Medellin sunset in Colombia, which is J Balvin's hometown. I just think it's so cool and it really ties into the collaboration perfectly. Another really important factor about this pair of shoes is that the materials are nice. It feels solid, and you know I love a good pair of shoes with nice materials, especially when it comes to Jordans. You've got some small hits of suede, which doesn't feel incredibly soft, but it feels good quality. I'd say the only thing that I would probably have changed about this pair of shoes is the sock liner. That's the only part that feels a little bit more on the cheaper side. I wish they added just slightly softer material so when you put your foot in there it feels a little bit better, but again, you're hardly gonna notice and it's definitely not a big deal. Now obviously, because this pair of shoes is so much more toned down in comparison to his previous versions, they're way easier to style. Throwing these on with a pair of shorts looks really good. Pairing them with darker and lighter colors both work, so it's actually a really solid and easy pair of shoes to wear. Another cool thing is the outsole. It's pretty much all over semi-translucent, so it's just like this really milky color. I kind of thought that it looks like it would glow in the dark, but it doesn't. Yeah, super glad I picked these things up. I wish I would have got them for retail, but apparently you have to have been extremely lucky to pull that off. But next up is an absolute steal that I managed to get on a pair of Yeezys, and that is this pair right here. This is the Yeezy Quantum Miss Slate. We're gonna keep this one a little bit shorter because I have spoke to you guys about this pair of shoes. Essentially, this is a brand new pair of Yeezy Quantums. It's the latest colorway to have released. They dropped back in August, and pretty much as soon as they dropped, I managed to get them for like $100 off, or almost half the price. The resale price on pretty much every Yeezy Quantum is super low, so if there was any Quantum pairs that you wanted to check out, it's definitely worth having a look because I think this is a really solid pair of shoes if you can get it for a good price. And this latest colorway has got to be one of my favorite. It kind of reminds me of the Yeezy 700 V3 Azrael with the all over sail or cream upper and just the black inner sock piece, which I just think is a really good color combination. The Yeezy Quantum, I feel, just kind of got lost in translation. It's kind of supposed to be the basketball shoe of the Yeezy lineup, but it's super heavy and chunky, so I think it really is just more of a lifestyle sneaker. But the retail price is high on these things because they're very well made. There's a lot of technology in here, from the full length boost midsole, which feels super comfortable on foot, to this Adidas LEP system, so there's kind of a springiness to your step, which is obviously a performance aspect to this sneaker. The upper has a mixture of this heavy knit material with some translucent stripes going down the side. Overall, for the price that these things are going for, pretty much any colorway of the Yeezy Quantum, I think it's a great steal, and this is definitely one of my favorite recent pickups. Right, let's get into some of the clothing, and I've only got 2 pieces. I'm gonna start off with this pair of cargo pants. Now, this is a very affordable option, and I feel like it's like a hidden gem, at least from when I purchased them. I didn't really expect much, but They are freaking one of my favorite right now. I think they cost me about 50 pounds here in the UK, so they're probably like $60. So they are super wide leg. You do have adjustable ankle areas, so you can kind of cuff it up if you want to. Very, very heavy on the pockets, so you've got some huge cargo pockets. The way that they fit is probably one of the best that I've seen. I will say the one thing, because they are so wide, they do cover up your sneakers. Like, you do kind of want to opt for bigger, chunkier shoes. And the final piece of clothing is this hoodie right over here. One of the craziest feeling hoodies I've probably ever felt. It's from a brand called Sandcastle, and they are fairly new, so there's not a huge range of different options. This hoodie in particular is extremely heavyweight, and it's made of a material which just looks absolutely insane when you're wearing it. There's something about the way that it looks when it's on. It's like slightly puffy. This colorway is called Dune. It's kind of like a light olive color, slight greenish effect, and some very interesting details. Like round here on the back, you've got a little zipper pocket. You have this little clip carabiner over on the side. Right, back to the sneakers, and next up is something a little bit different, and that is this pair right here. It's not really a sneaker, it's obviously a boot, a pair of Timberland. This is the A Cold Wall Timberland collaboration on the 6-inch boot. Now, one thing you would absolutely almost require from Timberland is quality, and that is definitely what you're getting with this. It's all over suede upper, and it feels absolutely incredible. This collaboration obviously hasn't changed at least the general DNA of this boot. It's still very much a 6-inch boot. You just don't have the laces anymore. The way to get your foot in and out of these things is with a concealed side zipper. Again, there's just like a little leather strap that just covers up that zipper to make it look a little bit more seamless and minimal. You've also got some very, very minimal branding with a small A Cold Wall or ACW logo on the forefoot, and then of course the classic Timberland logo around the back. The midsole of these things is also really cool. It has a slightly more futuristic look to it because it's somewhat semi-translucent, so you can kind of see through to the inside over there, which I think is a really cool look. But if you were looking for a new boot for this winter time, I think this is a really solid option that looks absolutely phenomenal on foot. And finally, the Yeezy 950 in the pirate black colorway. This is such a cool thing that I finally have these things in the collection. I actually feel happier about getting these things in than when the pirate black 350s restocked. I guess it's just so cool to have this pair of shoes and know that I didn't have to pay thousands for it, because yes, literally a couple months ago, these things were reselling for thousands because they originally dropped back in 2015. And now that they restocked, they're actually going for under retail price. Having these things in, I've discovered a few things about them. One, they are a lot more comfortable than I imagined they would be. This rubber material is actually relatively soft. They're not as heavy as they look. You've got ballistic nylon covering the upper. Got a super sick inner sock liner. I'll pull that out. That's just next level quality in comparison to other Yeezy sneakers. And when they restocked these, they only dropped them out in the US. So not a lot of regions actually have them. You do have to go to some kind of resale platform if you did want to buy a pair. That's definitely a little bit unfortunate, but given the fact that these things are still going for under retail, is an incredible opportunity for anybody who really wanted this pair to now pick it up for a more reasonable price. These things retail at $600, so I still had to pay like $400 for these, which is still 100% not cheap, but to me it's worth it because it is a pair of shoes that I've wanted for a while now, and now that it's coming up to winter time, this is going to be a perfect time to add these things to my rotation. But there you have it, guys. Those are my top 5 sneaker and streetwear pickups. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. I'd love to know if you are picking up anything interesting, and hey, if you want the latest updates on upcoming sneakers, check out that video over there.